let your hair down, have a bit of a laugh with the other guys who are there and so forth. And then you got the night to come for you. So what then of this iftar? The Eid al-Iftar, the Eid al-Fitr. What of this Eid? This Eid is also a pause. It is a pause to reflect, to give thanks to Allah, to socialize, to be with one another before we start again, before our worship begins again. I mentioned to someone the other day, he said, oh, we're on a countdown now. Just after 27th night, Laylatul Qadr. He said, we're on a countdown now. Do you know why, by the way, they talk about the 27th night as being Laylatul Qadr? Okay? So there's two very interesting little nuggets to remember about this. The first, as I mentioned by Imam Fakhruddin Razi, he said that in Surah Qadr, you have the mention of Laylatul Qadr 3 times. Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatul Qadr. Wa ma adraka ma Laylatul Qadr. Laylatul Qadri khayrun min alfi shahr. 3 times, right? How many letters in the phrase Laylatul Qadr? 9. What's 9 times 3? 27. 27. That's Fakhruddin Razi. In his tafsir he mentioned that. Ibn Abbas gave an even better one. He said the last verse, Salamun hiya hatta matla' al-fajr, which literally means peace is here until the break of day. Okay? And if you count the words in the surah, the word here, which means sort of here, is the 27th word of the surah. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatul qadr wa ma adraka ma laylatul qadr. Right? What is the here? Here means it. It referring to Laylatul Qadr. Salam is on Laylatul Qadr, it means. Right? Salamun here. Hatta matla' al-fajr. He said, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said it's the 27th word of the surah. So, Salam is peace until break of day is here. Where is here? 27th word of the surah. Anyway, little nugget for next time to remember, inshallah. So, this person said to me after, he said, oh, we're on a countdown now. I said, we are on a countdown, but we are on a countdown to the beginning of something, not a countdown to the end of something. Don't count down to the end of the month. Count down to the beginning of Shawwal. Count down to what is to come. Things don't come to an end in Ramadan. Things begin on the day of Eid. Things begin. Today is, as they say, the first day of the rest of your life. The first day of the rest of your life. The day on which to ask yourself a simple question. And that question is, how have I changed? How have I grown? How am I different? Here we are, we believers, we are running a race. Okay, Allah says, Sari'u ila maghfiratin min rabbikum. That race with one another, or Sabiqu ila al-khayrat. Both of these mean hasten, race towards the garden. Hasten towards goodness. We are in a race. And what is the nature of the race that we are in? We are on a track. And we go round and round the track. The track is the year, is each year that passes. What is the meaning of the word Eid? I translated the word Eid as festival. But the word Eid actually comes from the Arabic Aada Ya'udu. It means to return to. Allah is Mubdi, Al-Mubdi, Al-Mu'id. Al-Mubdi, the originator. Al-Mu'id, the one to whom you return, or the returner. the one who sends you forth, the one who brings you back. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Mubdi, Mu'eed. This is how the human journey begins. Adam alayhi salam and Hawa, our mother, are sent forth. They are sent forth from the garden only to return to Allah at the end of their lives. So too we are sent forth only to be returned again. And that cycle is repeated in our life when Allah tells us to gaze upon the heavens and the earth. What do we see? We see cycles of return. We see Fajr, Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, Fajr. We see the morning, the evening, the afternoon, the evening, the night, the morning. We see, as many of you hopefully will have seen last night, very rare we get the opportunity to see the Hilal, the new moon that becomes the Badr, the full moon that becomes the Urjun, the old moon that again becomes the Hilal, the new moon. Okay? The word Hilal means to shout for joy. Istihlal is to shout for joy. Istihlal is also the word used in Arabic for when the baby gives its first cry. It is the beginning of something. And Urjun is linked to the Arabic word for rujur. Not exactly the same word, but a similar word. Rujur, which means to return, to come back again. So we see in the cycle of a day, in the cycle of a month, in the cycle of the year, we see this process of going around and around and around. This is an Eid. And you may think that your life is going around in circles. It is. Your life is going around in circles. It's meant to go around in circles. That is the nature of our life, the nature of the creation of Allah. It goes around in circles. Like the earth revolving on its axis. Like the moon making a revolution of the earth, Like the earth making a revolution of the sun. So too, we find ourselves going around the same track. Around and around and around. We find this in our spiritual life. There are times that we are full of energy and full of enthusiasm, and we are praying and we are fasting and we are reading Quran, and there are times that we feel a bit lazy. There are times it's easy to worship Allah, and there are times it's more difficult to worship Allah. We go through these cycles in our life as well. But what does the Eid remind us about? It reminds us that although we may think we are simply going around in circles, we are not. This race has a beginning and it has an end. Think about Mo Farah. You guys remember Mo Farah? Right? 5,000 meters, 10,000 meters, around and around and around and around the same track. But every time he passes the start-finish line, he is closer to his destination. Every time he goes around, he is thinking about what is my strategy for the next lap of this race. How do I ensure that I am engaging in sabiqu, in sari'u, that I am positioning myself where I need to be. I am thinking about my strength, my stamina. How much have I got left in the tank? What do I need to do on this lap that is different from what I did on the previous lap? Because no lap is the same. If you are a skilled athlete, no lap is the same as the lap that came before. The terrain may seem similar, but you are in a different place in the race that you know you are running. And the whole point of the dhikra, of the reminder that comes from Allah, The whole point of that reminder, the Quran, the religion brought by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is to remind us that you are not simply going around and around and around. You are not a hamster on a wheel, mindlessly just moving your feet. You are in a race. You are on a journey. It may seem to you that it's just the same thing all over again. It's not. Just as the sun and the moon, Allah tells us, are moving to their destination. They are traveling to their destination. You see them passing through the sky and you think, oh, there you go, another day. There you go, another month. There you go, another year. But they are moving towards a destination. And we now know that, of course. Scientifically, we now know that. That we are moving through the universe in these circular patterns. That the sun is not in the same place as it was as it passes through the sky the next day. The moon is not in the same place in space that it was, because we live in an expanding universe. So too with us. So ask yourself, you've come down the home straight and you are passing by the start-finish line. That is Eid. Eid, the thing that you return to time and time again. What are you listening out for? You're listening out for the bell. What does the bell mark? When you're running a track, it marks the last lap. Do you know? Do any of you know if this is your last lap? I spend a lot of time at the graveyard. I spend a lot of time at the graveyard. And I go around the qubur. And I look at the names. And I look at the dates. And I calculate the ages of those, the Ashab al-Qubur. I calculate the ages of the mu'mineen, the dar who inhabit the dar qawm al-mu'mineen. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam referred to graveyards as dar qawm al-mu'mineen, the abode of the believing folk. And I see those who were in their 80s and 70s and 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, teens, and children. And while making dua, I am reflecting not what nice things will be written on my grave, on my headstone, but rather what date will be written there. What will be the date at the end? I know the beginning date. I know the day of my ibda. I know the date of my sending forth into this world. I don't know the date of my auda. I don't know the date of my return. I don't know if today the bell has gone for my race. If this is the last lap of my race. So I must run this race as though this is my last lap. And so must each of you. When you think about what is happening around the world, you think about how the people of Gaza passed the 6th of October. What were they doing on the 6th of October before their lives changed irrevocably? What were the people of Darfur or of Khartoum capital city of Sudan, doing the day before a pointless conflict breaks out between the president and the vice president that has consumed the entire country in chaos, taken a stable country and made it a war zone. People who have experienced 2 or 3 years ago the earthquake in Turkey, what were they doing the day before? None of us know when our end is coming. But we know that we are running this race, and we know that we've made it to yet another point in the race where we can stop for a moment, reflect, and think about how we want to go forwards. What have I learned on the last lap of this race? What have I learned about myself, about my strengths, about my limitations, about those around me, about the terrain? Same relationships, same job, same school, same friends. What's different? What's different is what you have learned on the last lap, and how you bring to bear what you have learned on the last lap to assist you on this lap. So ask yourself, what is my state with Allah? What is my state with Allah's creation? On this day, the day of Eid, you know that there are sunnahs. What do these sunnahs relate to? They relate to what Fakhruddin Razi, the great mufassir of the Quran, said very simply. He said, all of the Sharia revolves around 2 principles: Ibadatul Khaliq wa Khidmatul Makhluq, the worship of the Creator and service to His creation. All of the Sharia revolves around this. And this is encapsulated on the day of Eid. What are the sunnahs of the day of Eid? You will say, oh, biryani is the sunnah of the day of Eid. In South Africa, definitely, biryani is the main sunnah of the day of Eid. Okay? But what are the sunnahs of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Number 1, have a date in the morning. Remind yourself you're not fasting. Allow yourself to enjoy the fact that after 30 days, you can put something sweet into your mouth in the morning, once the sun is up. And that date tastes sweet, because you haven't been able to do that for 29 days. I.e., take the opportunity to make shukr for the ni'mah of Allah. We act like shukr is something that is a responsibility. Oh, I have to say Alhamdulillah, I have to say shukr. No, just be happy. When you feel happy, take that happiness and turn it towards Allah. That's how you make shukr. Shukr is happiness that you associate with Allah. I am happy. It is because of Allah. Thank you, Allah. These are 3 pillars of shukr. I am happy. I am happy because of Allah. Oh Allah, thank you for making me happy. Shukr. What is the second sunnah? The next sunnah of the day of Eid. Make the takbir. Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah, wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar wa lillahi alhamd. I.e., be in dhikr. Be in dhikr. Fas'aw ila dhikrillah. Hasten to the remembrance of Allah. Make the dhikr of Allah, i.e. engage in the worship of Allah. The prayer of the day of Eid, for most of the madhabs, is a sunnah. Hanafis, slightly more complicated, wajib for us. Wajib for us. It is established by the sunnah. A prayer whose obligation is established by the sunnah. Okay? So the prayer of the Eid, the first thing we do in the morning, after having a date and making shukr to Allah, is we worship Allah. So the prayer, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ, the eating of something, إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. Okay? What is the other sunnah? Now many of you will know that you get the little messages that come through on WhatsApp. Here are the sunnahs of the day of Eid. Have a bath. Put on itr. Wear clean clothes. Not new clothes, mind you. New clothes is not a sunnah. Clean clothes is a sunnah. Okay? But, you can still buy new clothes for your family, of course. Although, when is the day you should do that? Actually, when is the sunnah to buy new clothes? It's the day of Ashura, actually. The day of Ashura. But khair, what is this for? Why do you have a bath? Why do you put on itr? Why is that a sunnah? On the day of Eid and the day of Jumu'ah. Because these days are days of gathering. And when you gather, you're going to be around people. You're going to be in close proximity to people. So what do? Remove the bad smell and put on a good smell. Remove the bad smell, have a bath, put on good smell, which is the itr. For what? Why? To make people happy. To make people comfortable in your presence. Because you smell nice. So they meet you, they don't go, oof. It's not painful for them to meet you. Oh, that's a nice attar. Which one are you using? Okay? What's another sunnah of the day of Eid? To go by one route and come back by another route. What is the purpose of this? It is to spread the salam. It's to spread salam. You go one way and you greet people. Some people who are coming from this route. You go another way. There were no cars in those days, of course. You go another way. What are you doing? You're greeting another group of people. So you greet different people. You go by a different route. You meet new people. Okay? All these sunnahs are about what? They all boil down to two things. Worship your Lord. Be good to His creation. And the third thing, if you want to add it for yourself, so if you like the huquq Allah, fulfill the huquq Allah by worship, the right of Allah by worshipping Him. Fulfill the huquq al-ibad, the rights of creation, by sharing your salam, by sharing your food, and by removing harm from them. And the last haqq here is the haqqun nafs, is the right of yourself. Feed yourself something sweet so that you make shukr to Allah. Genuinely shukr to Allah. Something that you enjoy eating. And you enjoy that you are able to eat it in that moment. So these sunnahs are not random things that the Prophet ﷺ pulled out from behind his blessed ear. Rather, they are things that the Prophet ﷺ pulled out of his blessed heart in order to remind us in a subtle way, in a natural way, in the fitri way of why we are here, who we are among, and what our responsibilities are, what our destiny is, what our purpose is, so that on this day of returning, on this day of Eid, of passing the start-finish line, you can remind yourself, refresh yourself, and prepare for what is to come, for the next lap of your race, which may be the last lap of your race. So prepare yourselves. Reflect on the month that has gone before you. Reflect on the fact that you have abstained from food and drink for 14 to 16 hours in a day, every day. Reflect on the fact that you have worshipped more, however much you did or little you did. I can guarantee you, you did more than outside Ramadan. Think about what that tells you about your potential, about the capacity that you have. Our religion is like a personal trainer. You go to the gym, you think you're a weakling. You can only bench press 40 kilograms, 50 kilograms. The personal trainer puts on 60. You say, I can't possibly do that. He says, yes, you can. I'm here. Don't worry. You lift the bar. Oh, no, I'll drop it on myself. I'm standing behind you. I'm standing above you. Don't worry, I'll catch it. He said, no, but I can only do 50. He said, okay, fine, only 50. Oh, I like this. Oh, you see, I told you I could only do 50. He said there were 70 on there. He didn't tell you. You can do more than you think you can. You are something astounding. You are something amazing. You have the ability to discern the ayat of Allah, to witness and experience the signs of God in creation in a way that no other creature can. No beast, no jinn, no angel. You have that capacity in you. It just needs to be awakened. So think about how you're going to awaken that capacity. Your unique human capacity to know Allah, and by knowing Him to worship Him. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Allah said, we did not create man and jinn except to worship me. We read that verse and we think, oh, so basically we've been created to do work. I'm so tired. We've been created to more work. I have to work to earn for my family, and I have to work to earn for the akhirah as well. Just work and work and work. I've just been created to work, because that's what worship is. Worship is just work. It's just more work. I have to get up early in the morning. I have to wash. I have to go up, down, up, down, up, down 4 times. Right? That's what my life is about. Thanks Allah. Yeah? You think that's what worship is? Is that what you think worship is? No. That is just the vehicle. Those things are just the cup. They're not what's filled in the cup. What's filled in that cup is true worship. And true worship is to experience God. And the experience of God is pure awe, pure joy, and pure wonder. To worship Allah is wujuhun yawma idhin nadira ila rabbiha nazira. Is on that day faces will be radiant with joy, gazing upon their Lord. That is what we are aiming for. We do this here now to increase our capacity for then. Because then, what happens after you close your eyes? That is when the real experience begins. The day of judgment, I mentioned to you, I think last week, is maybe 1,000 years longer than your conscious life in this world. You from the age of about 20 to the age of about 70. It's when you are fully conscious and present, your working life, right? 15, puberty, 65, retirement. We don't retire from worship, but you know what I mean. 50 years, day of judgment, 50,000 years. That is what you are. That is what you are made for. You are made for the akhirah. You're not made for this dunya. You pass through this dunya to prepare you for the akhirah. And that's what these laps are about. These laps of the track of your life that you are doing. This race towards goodness. This race towards the garden that is the breadth of heaven and earth. So in this moment, as you take a short pause, as you pass the start-finish line, the day of Eid, say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allah is greater. Allah is the greatest. La ilaha illallah. Allah, there is no God but He. Allahu Akbar. Allah is the greatest. Walillahi alhamd. And for Allah is all praise. And reflect on this as you are with your family, as you are visiting people, as you go to the graveyards, as you do all of these things. Allah be with you, inshallah. Allah is with you. So remember this. Remember one another. Remember all of your brothers and your sisters, wherever they may be. Remember that فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا, that with hardship there is ease. And what is the ease that comes to people in hardship? It is those who help them. When there are those who are in hardship, what is with those who are in usr? Where is the yusr? Where is the yusr for the people of Gaza? Where is the yusr for all those struggling in wherever they may be around the world? You are the yusr. You are the yusr for those in usr. When your heart opens with rahmah, with compassion, with love, with pity, when you are giving in charity, your fitrana, for example, the sadaqat al-fitr, which is the other great sunnah of the day of Eid, the giving to the poor, the giving to the needy. When you do this, you become the yusr that Allah sends to those who are in usr. So remember this as well as you reflect. Am I being a yusr to those who are in usr? Or if I am in usr, through whom is Allah sending my yusr? Through whom is Allah sending my comfort, my relief, my facilitation, my ease? I'm going to make it easy, inshallah. We finished there a little bit late, apologies, but you guys should know me by now. Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd.